In 5 minutes.
Yes, I just asked for prayers for the family of the girl who got in a car accident last week on Vintage. I know I heard that she passed this yesterday, so I just wanted to pray for her and for her family.
I think we should also pray for the driver of the car.
Councilwoman Dunn, would you lead us in a prayer, please?
Yes. Father, in the name of Jesus, dear Master, as we come together once again this hour in the morning, God, there are those that's hurting today, dear Master. We pray for the family of the young lady that got killed in the car accident. We also pray for the driver of the car. Father, we lift them up to your throne of grace, praying that we've never had to go through this, so we don't know how they feel, but we asking for your strength today. Dear God, as we come honoring those that have passed away from cancer and those that are dealing with it, Father, we pray today, dear God, that those that have passed away from cancer, that their souls are resting with you. And for us that's dealing with those that are dealing with cancer, we pray for strength, that we will be their strength in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, I pray for this council today. I pray, dear God, for the mayor, the police chief, for the administration, and for this whole council, that you would strengthen all of us, that we would do the things that's right, dear God, for the citizens of Kenner, and that Kenner will be a blessed city, and we thank you for it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Councilmember McKinney, would you lead us in the pledge? Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Good morning. You have a quorum this morning. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? Seeing none, we have correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads.
Thank you. Well, as you can see, looking around the room, all city employees were encouraged to wear pink today to raise awareness in the fight against breast cancer, and we have a pretty good turnout throughout the city. A couple of infrastructure updates. The flyover ramps into and out of the new airport are finally open. And this next Friday, a week from today, at 2 p.m., there will be a ribbon cutting at Loyola and I-10. The governor's coming, other statewide officials, local officials on the ribbon cutting of the DDI, the Diverging Diamond Interchange. It's going to be interesting, but it's a ribbon cutting because it won't be finished. They're going to, depending on the weather, the work's going to start transforming the ground level of Loyola at 2 p.m. So it's a 40-hour project, they said, to turn it over, just to get the lanes redone and open, and then they almost finished. They'll do the curbing and the medians once the 40-hour project is over. So everyone's invited if you want to come see. The Power Boulevard walking bike path is underway. We are trying to save as many trees as we can. Some trees have to come out, and they'll be replaced later, but we had some concerns about removing some of the crepe myrtles. We've also had some concerns about Williams Boulevard from Veterans to West Metairie, the bumps that are now in the roadway. As you know, it's going to be redesigned and re-overlaid, but before they start any of that, they got to address the base failures that are under the roadway now, and that's what they're doing. At nighttime, you see they open the roadway up, fix the base, and then put asphalt back on it. It's a temporary fix. It's like a roller coaster, so just slow down, and that's what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. It's a temporary fix to a much-needed overhaul of that roadway. And starting Monday, October 30th, Bow Brothers will start resurfacing 30th Street in Lincoln Manor from Dawson Street to Ohio and from Phoenix to Sam's Club. And that should almost do all of 30th Street, I believe, right? And also a much long neglected roadway. So they're going to start that. I'd like to thank everyone that came out in the police department and Chief Conley for the National Night Out Against Crime kickoff party that they had at the Pontchartrain Center. It was a pretty good event. Weather was perfect. And also this Sunday, we have our second annual food truck festival at Lake Town. Starts at 11, runs from 11 to 7 p.m. 3 bands, 27 food trucks, a play area for kids, sponsored by the crew of ISIS. And Saturday after that, trunk or treat at Must Bertolino, October 28th at 5 p.m. Anyone interested, contact the Recreation Department to put a trunk in it. It's open, free and open to the public, 5 p.m. I was told I had to recognize Visit Kenner. Visit Kenner won the 2023 Reader's Choice Award for the 6th year in a row from Convention South Media Group. I guess it's a media outfit that in the Southeast that promotes Pontchartrain Center, convention bureaus and all that kind of stuff. So 6 years in a row, Visit Kenner won the same award. Also, GOSEP, the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness, just announced yesterday morning that they will cancel weekly calls for saltwater intrusion until further notice. The outlook for this matter has improved significantly. And I'd like to thank the officials at the local, regional, and state level for their hard work and dedication with this problem. Apparently, it's not going to come anywhere near East Jefferson water intakes. And finally, with the October 14th primary election behind us, we'll now ask the City of Kenner voters to turn their attention to the election scheduled for Saturday, November 18th. Kenner voters will be asked to decide whether or not to approve a replacement millage that would provide some necessary funding to Kenner Fire Department for the salaries of our firefighters as well as other needs for fire protection and public safety. And this is a replacement millage. It's going to replace the 7.4 mills we have now that's been in place since 1983. It's 40 years ago, and it doesn't come close to funding the fire department. So they were able, with the, with the lack of funding, maintain their Class 1 rating for the past several years. And with this millage, we're confident they will maintain this Class 1 rating for many, many years to come. And with that, the city's made an informational video I'd like to show everyone now. It's going to be played on all of our social media sites, our website, but just for everyone viewing today, we'll have it shown here now. If somebody would press play.
On Saturday, November 18th, City of Kenner voters will be asked to decide whether or not to approve a millage to provide necessary additional funding to the Kenner Fire Department, a vital component to the safety and quality of life for the residents and business owners of Kenner. Currently, the dedicated millage for the Kenner Fire Department is 7.4 mills and the primary dedicated source of funding. This millage was first established in 1983, and over the past 40 years, the cost of the department's needs has increased, and the millage rate has never generated the necessary funds to accommodate rising costs. 7.4 mills generate approximately $4.1 million annually. However, the KFD annual budget is currently $12.9 million, and that is with firefighters being paid wages far below industry standards. For reference, the current starting pay for a new Kenner firefighter is $8.92 per hour. Our firefighters and their effectiveness are vital to our community. As a Class 1 rated department by the Property Insurance Association of Louisiana, KFD properly staffs its suppression division, has a dedicated aerial truck, and initiates thousands of hours of dedicated training. Without passage of a millage to properly fund KFD, it would become increasingly difficult to maintain the Class 1 rating, which in turn could impact insurance rates for Kenner residents and businesses. Our KFD firefighters responded to 2,894 calls for service in 2022 that included residential and commercial structure fires, emergency medical services, motor vehicle accidents and fires, hazardous material incidents, and investigations. They are also responsible for all fire hydrant inspections, public fire prevention training, and have a properly trained urban search and rescue team. Now let's take a moment to review the functionality of millages. A mill in the city of Kenner generates approximately $605,000. There are a total of 26,729 taxable parcels within the city of Kenner, with 1,121 of those parcels being 100% homestead exempt. A parcel with a homestead exemption decreases the taxable value of the property. Currently, 73% of Kenner residential properties are valued under $200,000. Therefore, the ability to generate a large volume of tax revenue is limited. If approved, the 18.2 millage rate will replace the current 7.4 millage rate with a net increase of 10.8 mills. If approved, this replacement millage is expected to generate approximately $10.9 million per year, significantly decreasing the detrimental annual budget shortfall, a shortfall that the city's general fund must be used to subsidize. Currently, the general fund subsidizes the Kenner Fire Department by approximately $6 million. If approved, the fire millage will fall more in line with fire millages assessed to residents and business owners in nearby jurisdictions and districts. For example, the East Bank Consolidated Fire Department has a dedicated 25 mills. The independent fire districts across the West Bank of unincorporated Jefferson Parish have dedicated millages ranging from 20 to 24.45 mills. Replacing the 7.4 mills for KFD with 18.2 mills is still going to cost a Kenner resident or business owner less than one in unincorporated Jefferson Parish. Moving on to the topic of what it will cost you. An 18.2 millage will cost the owner of a property assessed at $100,000, $3.83 per month, or 12 cents per day, or 1 cent per incident. The owner of a property assessed at $300,000 will pay $34.16 per month, or $1.12 per day, or 14 cents per incident. If approved, this replacement millage will generate additional funds to pay fire personnel adequate wages so that the Kenner Fire Department is able to increase the retention of these vital first responders. It will fund construction and renovation of fire stations, the purchase of personal protective equipment, firefighting equipment, and training opportunities. So on November 18th, we are asking Kenner voters to make a choice that will impact the quality of life for Kenner residents and businesses, the effectiveness of our first responders at the Kenner Fire Department, and the overall safety of our community.
It's a little lengthy, but it's a lot of information we had to get out to answer a lot of questions. So we're just going to remind people to vote. So that's all we can do. The Fire Association will be out knocking doors, and they can ask for support of it. Government can't. We just provide the information. So this is what we'll start running. It was asked to be run at this council meeting in the next two before the election. So with that said, that's all I have.
Yes, sir. Under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of October 5th, 2023. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2366-23, Humanitarian Humane to hold a public gathering on October 28th, 2023 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. for the purpose of a Halloween at Wentwood Playground, 200 West Loyola Avenue. Item 3B is application number 2369-23, Chris Ulfers to hold a public gathering on October 31st, 2023 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the purpose of a Halloween block party in the 200 block of Cotton Bayou Lane. Item 3C is application number 2368-23, St. Rosalie Society to hold a public gathering on October 22nd, 2023 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the purpose of a St. Rosalie procession/festival from Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church to Ground Patty at 512 Williams Boulevard. Item 3D is application number 2371-23, Our Lady of Perpetual Help to hold a public gathering on October 27, 2023 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the purpose of a trunk or treat at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Church. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember McKinney for the consent agenda. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 8, public hearings for final passage. We have none. Item 9 is ordinances for the sale, purchase, transfer, lease, and/or alienation of a movable property. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 13,370, an ordinance granting Entergy Louisiana LLC a right-of-way servitude and easement in that area known as Highway Park Subdivision Plots A-3A and A-2A-3B, bounded by Williams Boulevard, 44th Street, Lake Pontchartrain, and protection levy right-of-way for the location, construction, reconstruction, improvements, repairs, operation, inspection, patrol, replacement, and maintenance of electrical, power and communication facilities and providing for related matters. I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Brennan, to open the public hearing. Council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to open the public hearing.
Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just want to say, we're not voting now, but I'm going to be abstaining from voting for this as I work for energy. Thanks.
Mr. Nugent?
Hello, my name is Ryan Nugent. I live at 5444 Erlanger Road in District 3. I'm a little confused at the discrepancy between the actual ordinance and the document that's titled right-of-way instrument. The right-of-way instrument refers to an underground right-of-way, and it lists the kind of equipment that Entergy would install within the right-of-way, and it makes no mention of poles. Whereas the summary ordinance looks like it's written for an above-ground right-of-way that lists permissible equipment to include poles, cross arms, and guy wires. My questions are, one, what are we actually granting approval for? And two, is the actual ordinance allowing for too much? The reason I'm bringing attention to this discrepancy is that while I'd have no reservations about underground, an underground right-of-way in this area, I would have some reservations about poles in the same area. So I was just hoping to get some clarification on that.
Mr. Munn? Mr. Nugent, is that all?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
The right-of-way as proposed would be, well, I guess what Entergy is looking for right now would be only underground. It's written for whatever might need to come up in the future, is the way that we wrote it. So while there's no plans currently to have anything above ground, the right-of-ways are generally written for any possible power they would need out there, so that's how it was written. If you wanted to strike the poles from that, I guess we could. You could take it out of order and I could go make a change, but they're just typically written to include every possibility into the future, so.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Brennan, to close the public hearing. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0 to close your hearing. Now I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Brennan, to approve. Any discussion? Seeing none, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Councilmember McKinney has abstained. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution stating the City of Kenner's interest in participating in the Louisiana Enterprise Zone Act, Louisiana R.S. 51:1781-1791 and designating eligible census tract block groups within the City of Kenner as Louisiana Enterprise Zones based on the 2020 federal decennial census. I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. I have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 13,374. An ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with IV Waste LLC for solid waste collection and recycling services to amend section 6.4, increasing the service unit price for open containers roll-off, grit and screening containers, and solid waste containers. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Sharwood.
Ms. Dufresne?
Yes. Okay, this is, again, we are talking about roll-offs And I'm going to go ahead and address it the same as 15A and 15B, if that's okay, because 15B is the exact same. It's for Ramelli. So this is, we're talking about again, are the roll-offs, which are the open-top containers that we see our neighbors use in driveways when they're doing construction. It's the ones they drop in the driveway and then they pick back up. We use these roll-off containers at our drop site, which we don't pay for. And we also use them in our backyard, which is behind the public works and behind the drop site. We use those for general services, public works, field services, recreation, whatever big, large construction and debris that we might have. They place it back into those roll-offs and tree branches, whatever, and they take that to the river birch and the C&D drop sites. What is going on is in August, IV Waste, we're changing, let me say this, we are changing the contracts to read the same for both. There is no difference in what we're going to pay IV Waste for doing roll-off services if they come back and do roll-off services for the city, that we're going to pay Ramelli the same price. It's a $150 increase across the board for all container sizes. The only difference is that Ramelli uses a 40-yard roll-off. IV Waste has never had a 40-yard roll-off in our facilities before. So that's the only difference, is we are adding a 40-yard roll-off price for Ramelli's. That's the difference. Just recently, the price for dumping at River Birch went up to almost $125 a load for a 30-yard roll-off. It was around $107, so there has been an increase in the drop site disposal fee. I'm sorry, in the River Birch disposal fee. So in August, what happened was IV Waste refused to provide us with any more roll-off services. It was over our questioning of invoicing for the roll-offs that were coming out of our sites that we were getting these tickets from River Birch for. We were questioning the origin of the containers, because when we would get the tickets, which are the proof of backup, we would see on the origin, it would say Orleans, St. Bernard Parish Government, and some of them would say Jefferson. River Birch had set it up so that if IV Waste went over with one of our containers, they would punch in a code of pound 86, and that would give them a Jefferson ticket. And then they would provide us with a Jefferson ticket. We'd match it up to their invoicing, if that's our debris, and we'd pay for it. When the tickets were coming in with St. Bernard Parish or Orleans, we were questioning, it's up to you guys to tell us that this is our debris that came from our containers. After going back and forth months, and also with charges for the roll-offs coming from the drop site, which is our position that the drop site is all-inclusive price. We don't pay for drop-offs. We don't pay for roll-offs coming out of there. We refuse to pay them. So in August, IV Waste said, we're not doing it anymore. We're not going to pick up roll-offs. We're not going to provide you with roll-offs. We're not giving them to wastewater. We're not doing anything. We went to Ramelli, said we absolutely need them at wastewater. That's an emergency. We need those containers. And we're also going to need some at the drop sites and other places. They started doing the work. They had some 40-yard drop-offs, 40-yard roll-offs. A couple of those they dropped off had garbage in them. They ended up paying $450 for the drop-off fee at River Birch. We only paid them $350, so they're losing money. So when we met with them in September, late August, early September, about doing the roll-offs, we were going to need some more. We need some more at Lake Town. We're doing some construction things. The idea of what are we paying them for, and what is the bottom line for them. Come to find out, IV Waste was dropping the containers on our River Birch tickets. So we were paying for IV Waste to dump at River Birch. We shouldn't have been doing that. They should have been paying that. It should have been all-inclusive. So talking to Ramelli, it came down to maybe we need to rebid this, but we understand and we know from talking to other waste companies that it would cost us more. If we were to bid this out and just do roll-offs, There's some companies out there that charge $175 just to rent the container, plus the disposal fee, which is $550 of a 30-yard container. So we didn't want this to cost the city more, but we also want to keep everyone honest. We don't want to have half containers taken. We don't want to have more containers that aren't ours being dumped. So we want everybody to be honest, and we don't want anyone to really come here and lose money. It doesn't make sense. You got, on a $350 container, after they pay the dumping fee, they make $225 on a 30-yard container. They got to pay labor, they got to pay gas, they got to pay for the trucks. We want everyone to be paid an honest wage, and we want honest billing. That's what we want, and that's what we're demanding. So that's why we went to Ramelli and we said, what if we increase across the board $150 and then give you a price for the 40-yard roll-offs, which is a bigger roll-off, which they have been using. And they said they would be willing to do that. So that's why we are coming to you all, asking you now to just increase by $150. That will pretty much cover the cost of the dump fee. That will keep everyone honest and keep Ramelli and Ivy Waste, if they come back at some point in time and we need them to do roll-offs and they want to do them, they will be making the same amount of money. Everybody is being charged the exact same fees. If there's any questions.
And if they utilize 40 yards rather than 30, it should be less.
Right. There'll be less numbers, yes. And they've been using 40s and charging us for 30s. So, because I didn't even realize they were doing that until I got some of the tickets, and I was like, wait a minute, you're using a 40-yard, we're not paying you for a 40-yard, we're only paying you for a 30. And I've been behind a couple of those trucks as they come out of the backyard, and they are stacked. I mean, they are full. The tops are, you can see where they're, completely full. There's not taking any halves out. We're only averaging about 6 or 7 coming out of there, but before we were averaging about 60 with Ivy Waste. 60. So, yeah, so we're obviously saving money, and we're getting honest billing and an honest number of tickets coming out.
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, as far as the waste contracts are concerned, we're looking at 2 of them right now, really, because, we have another one we'll be considering, excuse me, in a minute with Ramelli. So I guess these questions pertain to both of them.
Both, yes.
Okay. So for the city of Kenner, I presume, and I feel very sure that you're the person who has the best understanding regarding these contracts. Wouldn't you say that's true?
Yes.
As far as these contracts are concerned, if IV or Ramelli, they come on the short end of the stick on a particular item, such as the roll-offs, and we're amending the contract to increase those service fees. When we do that, are they bound by that as a whole? Because, the contract is a 10-year contract.
The contract is
it
a 10-year contract, and could we say, 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when you all signed this contract, gas was cheaper, labor was cheaper, trucks were cheaper, the cost of hauling was cheaper. Too bad, this is what you get, and, you don't get any increase, and, you have to lose money every time you come and pick up one of our trucks. Sure, we could, but is that how we want to conduct business? That we're not going to get people to do contracts? And I just feel like that's a way to open up to maybe, instead of a full, complete to the top rim container being taken to the drop site because we're paying per container, now we're getting quarter containers, half containers, and now we're paying more because we're getting, instead of 6 or 7 containers, in order to make up the difference. And I'm not saying anybody's going to do that, but I'm just saying it just opens up the possibility of now we're paying for 10, 15 containers. And I don't think that, when something changes, and like when I said, I went back and looked, and I was like, well, this is interesting because how much IV was pulling out compared to how much Ramelli is taking out. And then I discovered that they were dumping on our River Birch tickets. So IV was getting paid up until this point, $350 a roll-off, and not paying the dumping fees. They were dumping on the city's River Birch account, the C&D account. So they were actually getting the $350 plus not having to pay the $107.43, which was what it was at the time. So that's when we sat down with Romelli, and I was kind of like, well, you know, IV was okay doing it, why aren't you? And that's when I went back and looked to see what the fees were, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, okay, they were dumping on our account. So that's when I said, look, you know, in order to keep it fair, you're gonna do the same work that IV did, less containers are gonna come out. What if we do an amendment, make it $150, and then everybody is on a fair plane again?
If there's too many negatives in a contract where a company, either one of these companies or any future company, they realize that there's too many negatives, can they opt out the contract?
They can't opt out. Well, I say that, but IV did on the containers. They said they weren't going to provide them to us anymore because we wouldn't pay them for the questionable billing. And we went to Romelli to ask them to provide us with containers. I mean, we could always pull the performance bond, but in the meantime, we don't have containers being picked up. And then we're not running the city effectively.
Do you feel that this is the best interest of the city of Kenner
Oh, absolutely.
to support these?
I think if we had to rebid out just the roll-off containers, like I said before, I know that Waste Pro charges $175 just to rent the container. So when the container is sitting in the yard being used, and then they charge $550 to dump it. So, I mean, that's more than what we're talking about here. We're just asking to take it up to $500 on the 30-yard containers. So we'd still be saving money and getting good, honest billing that I can follow and I can pay every month.
So when did we enter in these contracts? If you
IV Waste was in 2020 and Romelli was in 2016.
okay, and they're both 10-year contracts?
They're both 10-year contracts.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Schwartz.
Hey, Mr. Dufresne, I'm kind of surprised that we're paying by container, not by tonnage.
No, we pay by container. They dump they get charged for dumping by container.
Yeah, that's why.
Yes. Garbage is different.
Garbage,
Is different. Garbage
yeah,
is
because it
tonnage.
was like half a container costs the same amount as a full container.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's why I was thinking, why
Yes.
we're paying by container.
Yes.
Have you talked to Mr. Romelli about possibly having dedicated containers? That way we know they stay here in Kenner. In other words, we ship one out, it's that say K20, and then they empty it and bring K20 back. And we know that K20 is a 40-yard container.
Well, we know I think we know what kind of container they have. But what we do is when we have the tickets, when they take the container from here and they take it to the dump site, it registers what type of container it is, what size it is, so we know it's ours. And then we get the tickets back. And like I said, we've been getting. I just saw September's come in, and I looked at it real quick. I think there was only seven that came out from the backyard. And like I said before, we were averaging 60, 70 with IV, and now
Half containers.
Yeah, containers. I can't say whether they were half full or not because nobody watches that. So, but there was a lot of containers coming out back there. We've gotten a handle on it since January with everything happening, and we shut them down to about 10 to 15 starting in January, February.
And the tipping fees, the tipping fees,
Yeah, the tipping fees, we're
they're
not
still going to
paying
be the same, and
We're not paying them, no.
we're not paying them?
No.
So they're taking,
No, in 2022, we paid for IV Waste, we paid $69,000 in tipping fees for just the C&Ds.
and they were supposed to be paying, they're supposed to be picking up
They're
that
supposed to be
tab,
paying that.
and we ended up picking it up.
We picked it up,
Gotcha, thank you.
so, no problem.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Morella?
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. Now, y'all gave us a dollar amount per container on how many different containers. But I would like to get any increases, because that's what these two items call for. A total dollar amount on how much, what the total cost is in increase.
It's just,
Now, you're telling us what it costs per container, but I like to get a total cost of what the increase is on what they're doing right now, involving the work that they're doing right now.
it is just an increase of $150 per container. So if the 30-yard container is $350, it's going up $150, so it's gonna be $500. So it's going across the board, all of the containers, we have the grit containers at wastewater, all of them are going up $150,
Okay?
across the board evenly.
What I'm getting at is what that totals out to.
Oh.
Do the calculation on it, what that totals out to.
That's the total. We're not paying, it's a one price
Michelle,
fee. It's
so-
one container.
If I can, so if they pulled 6 containers, it would be a $900 increase for the month.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thanks, Liz.
If they pull 6, so
Yeah,
if
they
she's
pull
saying
6,
they pulled
yes.
6,
Yes.
then $900.
Yes.
And I always like to see the dollar amount.
Okay.
And there's no dollar amount on either one of these 15A or 15B.
Yes.
So that's why I'm up here asking that question.
It's just gonna depend on how many containers, and on average, like I've said, like the last meeting we had, we've been pulling an average of, maybe about 6 or 7 a month, about out of the backyard. So it's gonna be about $900 a month more. But we're not paying the tipping fees that we were paying for IV, so it's gonna maybe be an average of a couple $100, because we're not paying those tipping fees anymore.
Well, in the future, when we got any increase items on this agenda, with an increase, I'd like to have a dollar figure attached to that item on the agenda, which that increase is. Total dollar.
And it's hard to say what total is, because we don't know what, I mean, if we have a big storm and we have to go pick up a bunch of tree branches, then we may have more containers. If everything's fine and we're not doing a lot of construction around the city, we may not have a lot of containers full. It just really depends. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we had to go pick up 25 truckloads of debris that people threw out on the median. Those are gonna fill up, that's what we put into those roll-offs. So on those instances, we may fill them up sooner. Okay?
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Stu.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up one more point. I note, and I'm sure it's probably on both pieces of legislation, but on 15A in particular, I'm looking at, it's submitted by the mayor, and I'm just making sure, and I know the administration apparently is in full support of both of these ordinances, or proposed ordinances, since our city attorney is, and I presume, is that correct, Mayor, that you were in support of these, correct? Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. There being no further discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 13,375. An ordinance approving amendment number 2 to the agreement with Romelli Janitorial Service Incorporated for solid waste collection and recycling services to amend section 6.4, increasing the services unit pricing for open containers, roll-off, grit, and screening containers and solid waste containers. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request from the legal department. There was a typographical error in the caption of this ordinance. It should read 6.5, not 6.4. So if I could entertain a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan, to amend the caption to fix the typographical error. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to amend. Now back to your original motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 13,379. An ordinance authorizing the purchase of one 61-inch Skag Turf TGR mower and associated equipment from Vaughn's Power Equipment Incorporated, utilizing state contract number 4400025243 in the amount of $16,116.98. I have a motion by Councilmember Wilmot, seconded by Councilmember Sharwood. Any discussion?
Yes, we discussed about this. The price of lawnmower, I think we have to, not at this time, but maybe investigate if we can get this lawnmower on another bid instead of by using the state contract, maybe putting it out. So maybe we'll need to investigate that after this right here. But I'm fine with it for right now.
Madam Clerk?
All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 13,380, an ordinance authorizing the use of Louisiana State Contract number 4400021913 with Barney's Incorporated to furnish firearms and firearm accessories in an amount not to exceed $75,000 annually for the Kenner Police Department. Have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Yeah, Chief, if you can explain the equipment and accessories on this one? If you can explain the specific
Yeah,
equipment and accessories.
So as you know, with your support and the mayor's support, we've been trying to attract more recruits, get our numbers up as far as the patrol division. It's been successful, the campaign for hiring new officers. With that comes the need for more, and this is 15D and 15E, comes for more equipment and supplies. So this is to add money to our contract to increase the cap to buy more guns, holsters, and all the accessories that go along for it for the 20 new officers that started the academy 2 weeks ago.
Wonderful.
So, and it's within our budget, thanks to this council and administration, in anticipation of getting our numbers up. So next year at this time, we should have about 20 or 30 more officers on the streets.
Thank you. Good need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Schwartz?
Chief, this would invest also?
No. No, we're going to look for outside sources for the vests.
We try to, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Council. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 13,381, an ordinance authorizing the use of Louisiana State Contract 4400025542 with Barney's Incorporated to furnish tactical police gear in an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Kenner Police Department. Have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 13,382, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Core and Main to purchase supplies to repair sewer lines in accordance with telephone bid 23-2947 in the amount of $7,892.44. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Any discussion? Seeing none, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15G is summary ordinance number 13,383, an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of pump number 3 variable frequency drive at 24th and Delaware Lift Station by Southern Controls Incorporated in the amount of $20,563. I have a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot. Seeing any discussion? Council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15H is summary ordinance number 13,384, an ordinance accepting the estimate from Covington Sales and Service Incorporated, a sole source provider, to replace the rear motor on Unit 9063 in the amount of $34,344.41. I have a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Lahat. Seeing notice, go ahead, Council.
Yeah, just like an explanation on this one as far as it says replace rear motor, unit 9063. What is unit 9063? Do we know?
Yes.
That's the 2008 Sterling Vector truck that we have at Covington Sales, and that's just for the rear motor.
Okay, that's for, you said for the vacuum truck?
Yes, sir.
Okay, much needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Seeing no further discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15I is summary ordinance number 13,385, an ordinance approving the purchase of 15 sculpture, plaques, and mounting hardware from Creative Graphics Incorporated in accordance with letter bid 23-2090 in an amount not to exceed $9,706.65. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Brennan. Seeing no discussion, council members in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Motion passes 7-0. Item 15J is summary ordinance number 13,386, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Crescent Decal Specialists Incorporated to supply pressure-sensitive brake tags in accordance with letter bid 23-2091 in the amount of $21,213. Have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember Dunn.
Have we ever got a cost analysis on whether the city should still put out the brake tags? We should do a state contract or the state brake tags? Is it still feasible? I mean,
with moving it out, we were able to eliminate the brake tag department. So we are saving money in salaries. It's not costing us anything more to have outside companies do it. They still perform some inspections in-house and have like one or two, and I don't know if Catherine wants to talk about that, but I mean, yes, it's a savings because we're not funding salaries and benefits for all these people, to do the brake tags.
good, thank you.
Just to add to that, we only have 2 employees that handle the brake tags now in-house, and they also do all the collections of all the brake tags around all the locations that offer it within the city of Kenner. So we've actually been saving a lot of money per year now.
If you don't mind, Ms. Harris, when someone's assessed, the reports that we get from the people that are doing the brake tags, if someone's assessed a late fee, I think it's an extra $5 for the brake tag. Does that get reported to us? Do we actually see? Have we seen anything?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and that is included on the report.
Okay. I mean, we've actually seen it. So
Yes.
I was late on mine, and the guy just said, "You're late. It's another $5," and I
Yes.
gave him the $5. And I was,
That is part of the report. Absolutely.
you can check the date if I give it to you.
Yes. You sure can, actually.
It's more interested you were violating the law, but nevertheless.
Thank you for that. Kind of opened that door. Huh? Madam Clerk? All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Hi, Ryan Nugent, District 3. I had actually wondered a lot of this myself, and I wasn't planning to speak on this issue, but I had wondered about it many times. At this point, why do we have a separate Kenner brake tag? At the point that we were doing these inspections ourselves, conceivably it could have been considered a public safety measure because we were doing that diligence. It wasn't being done by some gas station. It was being done by city employees who were ensuring that every vehicle in the city complied with certain requirements. At this point, now that we have it sourced out to gas stations like every other municipality in the state, with the exception of Baton Rouge, what is the point of the Kenner brake tag?
Thank you. The point is that we actually have quite a few people that still come to our department to get those inspections, school buses. In addition, we also inspect all of the CPNCs, your taxis, that need to have brake tags and a CPNC license. And those people would be required for that, so they just absorb all the brake tags internally. So it's not like we're spending additional dollars to keep them just to do brake tags. They were already doing all the taxis and school bus inspections.
Yes, sir. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15K is summary ordinance number 13,387. An ordinance approving supplemental agreement number 4 to the agreement with Richard C. Lambert Consultants, LLC, for construction, engineering, and inspection-related services for West Esplanade Bridges at Duncan Canal, state project number H.011731.6, federal aid project number H.011731.6, Kenner Public Works project number 2014-001A-CIP for an increase of $63,958.50. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Wilmot.
Mr. Gonzalez, an explanation, please. Mayor?
I'm sure he can explain it better than me, but I was promised this is the last one.
This was the old federal aid project that calls for improvements to West Esplanade Duncan, drainage-related improvements, and massive box culvert. The project was accepted by the council back in May. However, this amendment is for construction engineering services, commonly known as resident inspection services. The consultant had to complete all the documentation that the state DOTD requires for closeout services. And that's what they have done. And this is what I've been told is the final invoice for this project. So we have completed the construction. This is for resident inspection services whose documents now have to be submitted to the state and for auditing purposes a few years from now. And our participation is 20%. We're not absorbing the entire amount. We're only absorbing 20% of the cost.
And why are we doing the 63? Why don't we do just the 20%?
Why are we done?
Here the ordinance is for 63,000. Why are we doing 63,000 and not just our 20%?
No, because the actual claim is for 60 some more thousand, and that's the way it's got to be presented to the state when we ask for reimbursement. So we got to specify the entire 60 some more $1,000 as a claim, and then the state will reimburse us, the 80%. So the city's only going to be liable for 20%.
How long does that usually take before we get reimbursed?
Lately, it's been about 2 months. Sometimes it'll take as long as 3 months.
Oh, as long as it's not years.
No.
Okay.
Thank you. Councilman Brannigan?
Well, he answered my question was, how much is the split? And it's 80-20.
That was my same question. He answered it.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. All council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15L is summary ordinance number 13,388. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Bayou State Fasteners to provide Schedule 80 PVC pipes on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 23-6788 and an amount not to exceed $100,000 annually. I have a motion by Councilmember Dunn, seconded by Councilmember Sharwood. Council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15M is a summary ordinance number 13,389, an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Bow Brothers Construction Company, LLC, to provide asphalt street maintenance on an as-needed basis, increasing the agreement amount by $1 million annually for a total not to exceed amount of $2 million annually. I have a motion by Councilmember McKinney, seconded by Councilmember Brennan.
Mr. Gonzalez?
This is a relatively new contract with Bob Brothers for asphalt maintenance-related work. And the reason that we have to increase the gap is because over the last few months, the city has been extremely fortunate to have received federal funding and state funding, as well as some local funding, to do miscellaneous resurfacing work throughout the city. Most of the work has been performed on 30th Street and 31st Street. As a matter of fact, next week we're going to start resurfacing the remaining sections of 30th Street, and that work is probably going to last, maybe 3 or 4 days. Anyway, the annual contract with Boys has a $1 million cap, and we have spent probably, or will be spending probably close to $750,000 by the end of next week. So therefore, we're going to have to increase the cap because we are going to continue to seek for federal funds, state funds, and local funds from all of you so that we can continue to do asphalt-related work.
Just for clarification, Mr. Gonzalez, the cap that we're looking at is an increase of $1 million, but that includes the federal and state dollars as well, correct?
Well, it's, it includes because they're doing the work.
Right.
We're not entering into a contract with the federal government or state government. It's a contract between the city and the contractor, which happens to be Bow Brothers. So whether we get federal money or state money, once we activate that contract, okay, the expenditure is being made under that contract. It's up to us to get reimbursed from the state and the feds.
Very good.
So we have to increase the cap if we want to allow, for Bow to continue to do asphalt work in the event that we get additional money.
Thank you for that explanation. Thank you.
I have no problem with the increase. That's not a problem. Problem's with Bow. Promised a month ago they have 15th and Taylor repaired. Still not done. Oh, we'll get around to it. I know it's a small job. They were in a neighborhood. They could have done it, and they didn't do it. Any way we can get these guys, they want some contract that they got to up it up and say, hey, even the small jobs are just as important as the large jobs.
Absolutely, yes, we can work on that.
So let's try to light a little fire under them and see if we can't get this project at 15th and Taylor taken care of.
Yes, sir, we can do that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Seeing no further discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15N is summary ordinance number 13,390, an ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement between the City of Kenner and the Parish of Jefferson to provide for a police detail by the Kenner Police Department at the North Kenner Library at a cost not to exceed $149,760. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Lahat.
Yeah, basically, this is just a contract between the city and Jefferson Parish. It's for a detail. It's no money coming out of our coffers or our funding source. It's what the parish will pay to the city for detail officers. These are officers that are off duty. Officers do details at everything from big box stores to fairs, festivals, city events, and it's something they get compensated for. But it's not taking any policemen off the road. It's not going to interfere with the services we provide. It's important to note that as this contract was going back and forth between the city attorney's office and the parish attorney's office, some language was struck that was more mandated than permissive, because I can't guarantee that we would have officers available at a detail rate because we have a hard time filling details from our local vendors in the city for fairs and festivals. So this is not money going out of the city. It's money that would be coming in to compensate those officers at a detail rate that's set by this council. And it is not taking any police officers off the road or of any of their services or duties that they need to provide to us.
Chief Conley answered most of the questions. I was at a Civic Association board meeting on Wednesday night and got questioned why are we taking officers off the street to go do this detail? They should be out on Vintage watching the speeders run up and down. But I explained to them that it is off-duty police officers that would not be out looking at speeders on any street in the city of Kenner. So thanks for your answer.
And to that point, as to the speeding complaints that we get, I do have overtime provided for officers to go out during peak times to monitor those heavily trafficked areas as well as the residential areas. But this does not affect that or any other service provided by the Kenner Police Department.
Thank you, Chief.
Actually, they were on Vintage yesterday. That's how I found out about my break tag. I need to talk to you about
Good
that.
comment.
Councilman Schwartz?
Did you ever read it right? It's only for 4 hours?
I'm sorry?
Is it only for 4 hours?
The minimal is 4 hours. It's whatever they contract for. So they might have an event that they're concerned about that they might want more than 4 hours, but the detail rates are established by ordinance for a minimal of 4 hours at a certain rate. So it would be at least for 4 hours, yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Seeing no further discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15O is summary ordinance number 13,391, an ordinance approving amendment number 1 to the agreement with Economical Janitorial and Paper Supplies LLC for the purchase of janitorial supplies citywide, increasing the agreement amount by $50,000 annually for a total not to exceed amount of $70,000 annually. I have a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Dunn. Mr. Chairman, if that's okay. Mr. Chairman, if I could entertain, at the request of the legal department, they've requested, there was a typographical error in the caption. The amount should have been increased by $20,000, not $50,000. So if I could entertain that amendment at this time with a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Dunn to make that correction. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 to amend. Back to your original motion.
Councilwoman McKinney?
Yes, thank you, Council President. My only question was to the finance director, and how much have they charged so far, and what was the reasoning for the increase?
So the original contract was for $50,000, and they've already spent $42,000 of that amount. Recently, the police department has had interest in utilizing this agreement, and so in order to cover the additional department, we're asking for a $20,000 increase.
Mr. Morella?
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. I was just gonna ask for an explanation why this increase. So we got part of it. Is there anything else anybody wants to add as a reason for this increase?
Price of paper going up.
I guess some reason's better than none, huh?
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Seeing no further discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15P is summary ordinance number 13,392. An ordinance accepting the quote received from Southland Truck Group doing business as Kenworth of Louisiana LLC, an authorized dealer for parts and labor to repair Unit 22136, a 2013 Kenworth Vector T470 in the amount of $41,164.31. I have a motion by Councilmember Brannigan, seconded by Councilmember Brennan.
Councilman Wilmot?
Thank you. If we can have an explanation on this one, what unit it is?
Yes, sir, this is a 2013 Kentwood Vector truck. It's also a Vector for the wastewater department.
Okay, same type of vehicle.
Same type of vehicle.
Thank you. Much needed, thank you.
Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. Seeing no further discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15Q is summary ordinance number 13,393, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a demilitarized zone-based public forms portal, a subset of Laserfiche with anonymous submission available to the public in an amount not to exceed $10,745.06 for the Kenner Police Department. I have a motion by Councilmember Brennan, seconded by Councilmember McKinney.
Chief, it seems like a deal with that topic.
Yeah, I can't really discuss it. No, I'm kidding. A while ago, there was concern with, well, let me just read the little synopsis. The Kenner Police Department started a Safe and Sound program, which was created to provide parents and or guardians of children or adults with the ability to register loved ones who experience various mental or physical exceptionalities. This program is designed to aid the Kenner Police Department in reuniting those loved ones with their family in the event they wander away from home or school or end up missing for any other reason. It also provides officers with vital information that may assist them in making any encounters with those loved ones as stress-free as possible. It's a wide range of disabilities, but it was basically brought to my attention almost a year ago by one of our officers, one of our detectives that work with these kind of cases, that we need some kind of way to gather information where if a family has a family member or if they're a guardian of a loved one or anybody else that might be in their guard that has a disability, that they can upload information that goes into our database so that if that person's missing, you know, we have information on hand that would assist us in maybe determining where he or she was last found, what they're attracted to, water, any kind of attractive nuisance that they might be drawn to. So it's something that the parents can go in anonymously, or the guardians, and upload. That's why it's called dematerial, whatever, because of the type of safeguards and firewalls that are put up to protect that sensitive information. But it is a program that we're excited about. The community's been excited about. The people we've been working with are excited about. And once this is approved and has a proper layover, the contracts are signed, and we will launch, you know, a campaign to educate the public on how to do that, so that fire, police, EMS are all looped into, you know, the needs of these people on an individual basis that we can give, you know, give the attention needed for.
Thank you, Chief. Madam Clerk?
Seeing no further discussion, all council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15R is summary ordinance number 13,394, an ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement with the Treasure Chest Casino LLC for the expansion and construction of a public road. I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember McKinney. Mr. Chairman, we also have a request to amend, if I could, please. The legal department has requested an amendment to this piece of legislation. We will be deleting the fourth and fifth whereas, and deleting section 2 and renumbering section 2 to section 3. I have a motion by Councilmember Lahat, seconded by Councilmember McKinney on the amendment. Any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0 on the amendment. And now you're back to your original motion as amended. Any discussion?
Yeah, right.
Councilman Lahat?
Thank you, Council President. Jose, this is the road behind the Pontchartrain Center that accesses the current temporary parking, which will be the eventual employee parking for the Treasure Chest, correct?
That's correct. That's going to be a 4-lane roadway that's going to service not just the Pontchartrain Center, but it's going to service the Treasure Chest parking lot. And the reason for the cooperative endeavor agreement, the primary reasons are financing the cost of the roadway, which is going to be split, and right-of-way dedication. The city does not own the entire right-of-way for 4 lanes, okay? Treasure Chest owns half of the right-of-way, and the city owns the other half. So we need this cooperative endeavor agreement on 2 main counts: financial split and right-of-way dedication.
Okay.
And the project has been bid by Treasure Chest, so construction should be starting soon.
Okay, and while we're on the topic, the road on Joe Yinny leading down from Lake Town that has the caution tape, we're gonna be leaving that for now based on the ongoing construction and repairing that section of the road once it's completed, from my understanding.
We're talking about Williams Boulevard?
Yes, Williams, when it reaches Joe
Boulevard
Yinny. Yeah,
resurfacing?
past Joe Yinny, yes,
Right.
correct.
I mean, Treasure Chest is under construction. They're still moving heavy equipment on Williams Boulevard. Our intent is to allow Treasure Chest to complete their facility, and then prior to the completion of that facility, our plan right now is to use Bow Brothers contract, maintenance contract that we discussed a little while ago, to resurface Williams Boulevard between Jenny and the lake.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions from constituents about that, so fantastic. That's good to hear. Thank you so much.
Just a question on, since we're splitting this, apparently, it's half owned by Treasure Chest and half owned by us. What about liability? Do we have any, is there any issues regarding liability? And maintaining the road and signage and that type of thing?
Well,
traffic signage?
Once this cooperative endeavor agreement is executed, part of the contents of the cooperative endeavor agreement is that they're gonna dedicate the right-of-way. This right-of-way will be a city right-of-way, okay? Once the right-of-way is completed and accepted by the city, it will be a city right-of-way. So yes, the city will absorb that liability once everything is complete.
And that's correct from y'all's viewpoint?
Yes, once they dedicate it to us, it's
Okay.
ours.
All right, thank you both.
Seeing no further discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 15S is summary ordinance number 13,395. An ordinance approving an increase to the not-to-exceed amount from $750,000 to $1 million for the purchase of computer hardware from Dell Marketing LP utilizing state contract number 4400002525. I have a motion by Councilmember Sharwood, seconded by Councilmember Brannigan.
Increased purchase in computers that's been used throughout every department in the city. We've just had a need for new computers.
Yeah, there was a large purchase that KPD had. They received some state funding and requested in their capital budget this year for some new equipment. So we have $275 left on the contract. So on the city side, we need the $250 in order to pay some invoices coming in.
We need to get some of those paper products.
So just to kind of figure, I didn't know I was to blame for the increase, but we did upgrade all our computers to support some software that the state had put out for the LA crash program, which the older computers could not. And then with the new addition of these employees coming on, it takes a lot to outfit them because every car is going to be equipped with a computer for them because they carry these laptops around and they work from the vehicle with the air cards and modems and whatnot. So, that's probably a lot to do with it as well.
Seeing no further discussion, council members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Seeing none, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Riddener Equipment Company, LLC, doing business as JF Petroleum Group, to furnish and install one OPW PV200 fuel island terminal with MAG card reader in accordance with letter bid number 23-2094 in the amount of $13,439. Item 16B is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Pearson's Trailer Parts and Repair Company, Incorporated, to purchase one new trailer in accordance with letter bid 23-2093 in an amount of $10,745. Item 16C is an ordinance approving Amendment Number 2 to the agreement with Mitel Cloud Services Incorporated for phone system upgrades to increase the agreement amount to $110,000. Item 16D is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Bayou State Fasteners and Industrial Supplies, LLC, to provide saw blade, mesh, and rebar on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 23-6792 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 annually. Item 16E is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Simsco Incorporated to provide valves on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 23-6793 in an amount not to exceed $100,000. Item 16F is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Covington Sales and Service Incorporated to purchase one combination sewer cleaning vacuum truck in accordance with seal bid number 23-6787 in the amount of $543,932. Item 16G is an ordinance approving an agreement for a monthly rental of a combination sewer cleaner vacuum truck with Super Products LLC for a monthly fee of $11,910 for a total not to exceed amount of $71,460. Item 16H is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from First Responder Equipment and Uniform Distributors LLC, T/A, American Police Equipment Incorporated, and A.P.E. Incorporated to supply Kenner Fire Department uniforms on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $60,000 annually in accordance with seal bid number 23-6790. Item 16I is an ordinance approving an increase to the not-to-exceed amount established for the purchase of the Officer Safety Plan 7 Plus Premium Bundle Package, including all associated hardware, software, peripherals, and applicable training from Axon Enterprise Incorporated, utilizing state contract 44000-11240 for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16J is an ordinance amending the 2022/2023 operating budget to comply with Louisiana Revised State Statute 39:1310-1311. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman. Want to invite everybody, of course, Sunday to our food truck festival in Lake Town. It was our first one. Last year was the first time we did it. It was a huge success. Ran out of food. We have some more vendors this year. It'll be a really, really fun day. Please bring the family. We had people all throughout the whole metropolitan area at this festival. Also, in terms of more Lake Town developments, my assistant Stephanie and I have been in touch with some Grand Isle people in terms of how they put the green LED attractant lights on the fishing pier. We've researched that, and we actually have the actual light. I've been talking to Mark Glorioso about. It's actually a pretty cheap implementation. I'll talk to you about that this week, but something we can actually get done quickly, and I think it's something we should do. So it's something I'm trying to get done by the end of the year. But again, y'all come out to Lake Town. A lot of things, good things going on in Lake Town. Hope to see you out there Sunday.
I would just like to give some kudos to a few people for doing some special things that I'm aware of. So I'm going to start off with my brother-in-law. I'm not going to say his name because he wouldn't want me to say it. But every night since the beginning of COVID at 8 o'clock, we get phone calls from him, and he leads my family in prayer, which is really admirable. We also have I want to say the Bohannon family and Ronnie and Jenny Maines with CRC. They've done some outstanding things for this city throughout the years, and they keep doing them. So I just hats off to them. They just keep doing what you're doing. We really, really appreciate y'all. Brother Rodney Wood, who leads the legislature, all the senators and House members, former and current, he leads them in prayer, especially when he hears of people who have health or death in their family. Also, we have Reverend Byron Clay. He's local, but he administers and feeds the homeless, and he's been doing so since the beginning of COVID. That gentleman has done some outstanding things to help people. So I just wanted to mention those things, and I want to let them know that I appreciate them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Dunn?
Just want to ask the chief, since we, putting on that extra patrol, where I am when they did the 30th Street, man, I tell you, 100 miles per hour is nothing for these guys to come through. So we're going to see a little extra patrol in our area too.
The extra patrol, yeah. I mean, we have the overtime shifts that go out for traffic enforcement, so.
I think, we're gonna have to see some tickets. I hate to say it, but man, I get people calling all the time, especially where I live, I know for sure. And we were out on the street, and I'm telling you, they would get right to me, zoom, doing the donuts in the parking lot of the Lincoln Manor Gym. I called the police myself. They came out, and they saw where they left all of the marks. So I just want to say this, and that, to keep the city safe from all of that, because that's dangerous, that the people of the community, when they see it, dial 911, because when things get out of hand, then it's kind of hard to control that. But when I saw that on the actual parking lot of the gym, that was really kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, well, the number one complaint that we get at the police department is traffic related as far as residential neighborhoods. So, we do our best. Unfortunately, we could have 1 million police officers and that'd probably still be the number one complaint when you go back 2 or 3 chiefs. That's always been the issue. I think, we've been in discussion about some other measures that this council has available to it, and maybe we'll go forward with that as far as modifying behavior as far as traffic. But we do, we did buy and install 20 new radar mounted into vehicles, radar, speed rating equipment. So, we take it seriously, and once we get our manpower up, we can beef up our traffic division a little more. But we do take these complaints serious. We do respond to the complaints. I know it's a little deceiving because nobody's standing there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to see when we do, do stationary radar enforcement or things of that nature. But it is being done, I assure you. We are writing tickets out there.
Well, let me ask you, is it anything we can do? Can we take well, I guess that wouldn't work for us,
Well, just, like we always
I
say,
guess there's nothing
let us
we
know.
can
Call, if you have somebody doing donuts in a parking lot, dial 911.
Yeah, I did
'cause
that,
like you
and they
said,
did come out.
That's very reckless.
Yeah.
But, just be assured that we are out there shooting radar, monitoring residential neighbors, schools in session, so we're in tune with all the school zones. Traffic does get bottled up around schools, so we try to have a visible presence, or we try to be visible.
Yeah, I just want the constituents to know that, we have addressed that and have asked for that to be addressed, because, when things get out of control too much, and then you address it,
And look, and I think we'll be able to spend a lot more time on our residential streets and neighborhoods once all this construction's over on the interstate. The amount of accidents that we get on the interstate, probably due to a lot of this construction activity, is unbelievable. I'm a little scared with a divergent diamond because people have a hard time negotiating a four-way stop. This is going to be interesting. But, we're going to have a lot more manpower freed up.
Appreciate it.
So you've confirmed that if there's donuts, call the police and they will come.
We will show up if there's donuts, absolutely.
Yeah, they showed up. They definitely showed up.
And we will check brake tags. So.
Chief, I want to congratulate you on, right now, your new class, you got 17, 18 officers going through. I'm hoping that our endeavor of giving you more money, more resources and things like that, encourage more people to join the Kenner Police Department. And next Thursday night is the awards banquet.
Right. So to your first point, I always give credit to this council because when I started, recruiting and retention was a major deal. So we all got together. We were able to get that starting pay up. We were able to find outside sources for capital, for equipment and things like that. And that drew a lot of interest to us. So, by us working collectively with the mayor, the council, and my office, I think that's a credit to the numbers we've had recruiting-wise. But what was it? Oh, yeah.
The banquet.
Due to COVID and some other problems, there's been no real awards banquet for the Kenner Police Department. So Thursday night, the 26th, we will be having an awards ceremony going back to from 2018 to 2022. So we're going to have probably about 78 awards. That's both police officers and civilians, because we've had a lot of incidents where civilians have been heroes in their own right. So we're going to acknowledge, sure, we're going to leave some people out. We'll have follow-up award ceremonies. We're going to make this an annual event, but we're really excited to get back on track, and get these awards out.
I think public's invited.
Yeah, yeah. And
Absolutely.
we'll put it out. It's at Christ the King.
Christ the King Church.
Church right there behind the Esplanade. beside the Esplanade Mall.
Complex.
Right, 6:30, doors open at 6:30. The program starts at 7, and it'll be light refreshments after.
Fantastic.
It's Church of the King.
Church of the
It's the back one, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, it's Church of the King, not Christ the King. Church of the King.
Thank you for that.
Chief, did you have some other comments to make?
Yeah, I just also want to thank everybody for the work for the kickoff tonight out against crime that we had Saturday in the parking lot of the Pontchartrain Center. Our main sponsors, East Jefferson General Hospital, EMS, Gulf Coast Bank, Axon, New Orleans Dent Repair, Representative Villio, Mayor Glazer. But we also had people donate food and product like Coca-Cola, CRC, Jefferson Parish, the City of Kenner, the Ice House. But it was a really great event, 4 hours, Top Cats played, I'm sure at a discounted rate. So, we had a great turnout. We had over 31 agencies, the Kenner Fire Department, as well as the chief was a backup singer for some of the acts, which meant he needs a backup and get off the stage. But nevertheless, we had some great demonstrations put on by the fire department, some of the agencies, SWAT teams put on some demonstrations. And of course, that was a prelude to Tuesday night, in which we were throughout the community with the individual block parties, which was very robust and very well attended. I know y'all made some. I know the mayor was as well as making the rounds, but I think people really opened up their homes and enjoyed having first responders, police, fire, EMS come in and meet with them. And I know at Miguez Park was a huge showing, and it looks like that's going to be a staple in the future. So, I want to thank everybody for their support for that.
My apologies. I meant to have had this special request sent out at the beginning of this meeting. If you would not mind all keeping your thoughts and prayers with the family of Joanne Massany. She lost her sister yesterday, so please keep her in your prayers. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just wanted to wish the council clerk a happy birthday. Her birthday's tomorrow. Early happy birthday. You're the backbone of the council, and so we appreciate you. I mean, it is your birthday tomorrow, right? We didn't just clap for nothing.
I'm glad she made 29.
Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 51 years. I want to express a heartfelt thank you to all of the people who supported my campaign. Also, I want to clarify and set the record straight on 2 issues. The first issue, I directed some comments at the Parish Council meeting Wednesday morning to Fletcher Mackel of Channel 6 News. In all actuality, those comments should have been directed to his brother, Travis Mackel. So I stand corrected. Second issue I want to clear the record on, at our last council meeting, 15C, on the agenda, $320,500 for top lots in District 1 and some amenities added to some of the playgrounds. Councilwoman Dunn asked for a deferment, and the administration advised that if we deferred it, we would lose the money. We lose out on the money. Well, I posed this question to Councilman Lee at the Parish Council meeting Wednesday morning, and that simply was not the case. Councilman Lee emphatically said the money was committed. No matter what, if we were to defer it, the money would have still been there. There was no way he was going to withdraw that money. So that was totally correct. there, they was told they couldn't do it. And I understand that because it was not, it was a free event. And, you know, that, I understand the selling of t-shirts part. But the part I got a problem with, if this is true, that the second thing they was told was, I didn't hear it like I'm saying, if it's true, that they were told that it was political in nature. Now, if that is the case, okay, there were Dominic Gibbastado campaign signs attached to the barricades that were used inside the event. So if that's the case, a second reason why they couldn't have it because it was political in nature, in my opinion, that's a double standard, if that's the case. Okay. Anybody got any comments, any questions?
Yeah, I'll respond to that. That was a convoluted scenario, but yeah, we put on that event. A lot of work goes into that. A lot of effort from the police department, the city, sponsors put into that event. It's not a commercialized event. It's not a political event. So, you know, last year we had made T-shirts, sponsor shirts to sell, and we realized that not all the children's parents could afford a T-shirt for their children, so we ended up giving them away because we didn't want any child to feel that he was less important or less privileged than another child. So the whole event is free, from the food to admission. It's all based on donations. The officers and the fire department and EMS, they all cooked. We had a red bean and rice cook-off, so everybody got to eat, drink, and enjoy a show for free. So that's why we kind of said no to selling of anything within the confines. But as far as the political tones to it, breast cancer, I didn't think was political at all. So that goes as to selling the shirts. Dominic Impastato, Debbie Villio, Mayor Glazer, they were sponsors of the event. They could put signage up as sponsors. The only way we can afford to do stuff for free for the public is by sponsors. So that's why there was, I think, 2 signs on a barricade for each sponsor, and it was a sponsor board by the stage because some of the sponsors, Gulf Coast Bank, East Jefferson EMS, were major sponsors at about $5,000 apiece. So it's only right to acknowledge those that support the event. So that's basically it.
And I understand that, Chief, and I thank you for your explanation. But, you know, it wasn't sponsor signs. It was political signs.
But that's the only signs you have. They're named by its own right.
You know, that's why I'm saying.
Well, I guess we could have said an anonymous council member, but I don't know how that's a sponsor for them. You know.
Didn't have to be that. But, I mean, if they were told that it was political in nature, as far as I'm concerned, that was a double standard because this was a man running for office and his campaign signs was on those barricades.
No, I respect your opinion, but I disagree with it.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Hotard, 66 Red Oak, President of the Kent Fire Association. First and foremost, to address this, spoke with Chief Connolly. There were some misunderstandings that were taken care of that day. Appreciate you speaking with me. And moving forward, we're going to focus on our millage campaign, which is, I wanted to first and foremost thank the city and the administration and everybody involved who not only put this extremely comprehensive video together because it covers a lot of points in a very short period of time, but I want to just say thank you for them turning an eye to this upcoming millage, which I know there's been a lot of things going on in the city lately. So I just want to say thank you very much to the mayor and everyone else. In coming up, in the events coming up, we as an association have been out there doing the things that we can do on our end and working together with the administration and the department. There's going to be there's 2, I believe a north side and a south side town hall meeting, Mr. Mayor, and I believe that you're going to be giving the information that later today? Yeah, pretty sure. Is that right? For the town hall meetings, the information. Yeah, so that'll be out later today. I would like to encourage anybody who has any questions pertaining to this to please show up. This is our chance for us to answer any questions and for you to ask any question that or any concerns that you should have. For the association personally, concerning the breast cancer stuff, this is something we've done every year as an association. 100% of the proceeds do go to someone who, or some people who are nominated, families or friends that have struggled with breast cancer, And so we will be at Flavor Snowballs this evening from 4 to 6 to give all the shirts that were pre-ordered, as well as have some shirts for resale, as well as we will be at Food Truck Fest. I want to thank Mark Lorioso and everyone who allowed us to be there. We can't wait to be a part of this event. We're very excited about that. So thank you to everyone who's helped out. As it was mentioned earlier today, there was obviously a tragedy and a young lady losing her life, but in that I did want to recognize and commend Fire Captain Robbie Bassino. He was on his way to his second job when he was fortunately and unfortunately in the position that this happened. He was there, he saw it. He immediately rendered life-saving aid and gave her the best chance before fire department, and EMS, and police were able to get there. So I wanted to make sure that I commended him because it is not an easy thing. In fire, police, and EMS, these things unfortunately happen more than we would like to see, but I did want to thank him personally while I had this time for stopping and doing what is truly above and beyond. So thank you for your time, and thank you.
And just speak on that, I did acknowledge the firefighter, but he told me not to use his name, so I'm
Well.
glad that you could recognize him because he was there within seconds, according to the video surveillance, and he did render aid and control the scene. So, you know, kudos to him for
Yes.
that.
Thank you very much.
Greg Tapp?
Greg Tapp, 5th District. I just got I don't know if I can get it today, but I want to ask concerning JEDCO. I wanted to know, since we brought JEDCO on board, how many businesses have they pushed in Kenner's direction? And to date, what we have paid them for their services, have they contributed enough of those businesses to offset some of them costs to the city? So that was one thing I wanted to find out, is what have they contributed since we brought them on board? The other thing I want to bring up or give some attention to is I want to thank Allison from Councilman Brennan's office, because she has always been so fast at getting things done. And you know that when you call her, you know she's going to call you back and follow up to let you know that it has been taken care of. And for citizens, that is a rarity to have someone that will take that much time to not only take your complaint, get it addressed, get with the appropriate people, and then get back with you to let you know that it has been done. So I just wanted to bring that up and thank her and let everyone know how much it was appreciated. And that's really all I have. I don't know if I can get the JEDCO information today, but if y'all can have something for the next council meeting to let the citizens know what has been done regarding what I asked, I would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stepp. Thank you for those comments, and really all of the assistants go above and beyond and do a very, very good job. They take a lot of suggestions from constituents on a regular basis, so thank you.
I can address the JEDCO question. The council was actually just forwarded the third quarter report that JEDCO produced to us yesterday. Since I was not given advance notice, I would appreciate the opportunity to kind of collect all of the reports and combine them into a more consolidated format that would be easier for the public to digest for the next meeting.
Councilman?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just wanted to add to what Ms. Newton just said about JEDCO. We can compile that information, but one thing that I just want to make sure that the public is aware of is that JEDCO is an entity that is responsible for economic development in Jefferson Parish, and they are working with Kenner. But a lot of what JEDCO does is business retention, and they focus on keeping businesses here. So not only do these reports encompass what they're doing to work to bring businesses to Kenner, but they also work very hard to keep businesses in Kenner. And they have regular retention meetings, and that is also a major part of what they do as well. So we can provide both the economic development and new business component, but the retention component is important to keep in mind as well.
I'm sorry, Mr. Nucci. Ms. Rowland took you 3 minutes.
My name is Ryan Nugent, 5444 Erlanger in District 3. I want to start, I have a few different items I wanted to touch on. First off, I do hope this whole situation with the Entergy easement doesn't turn into a cautionary tale, because I, for one, think that there should be a rule when it comes to Entergy, and it's specifically don't give them anything you don't have to.
Speak up a little bit.
Sorry. Don't give them anything you don't have to. It's nice that the city wants to offer flexibility, but Entergy doesn't exactly have a reputation for doing so when the shoe is on the other foot. Second, I want to thank Councilman Lahat for getting involved with the tree situation on Power Boulevard. The city is doing very little to protect its existing trees from the bulldozer, and it goes without saying that we won't be receiving the Tree City USA designation again in 2023. We've removed far more trees in this calendar year than we've planted, and as I understand it, there are even more slated for removal. On Power Boulevard, where around 40 trees had been marked for demolition as part of the walking trail project, Councilman Lahat helped to ensure that the only trees removed were those that truly needed to be removed. Last but not least, I do want to get back to the brake tag situation because I'm not sure Ms. Topple really answered the question. What I'm asking is the same question that I've heard many people ask since we stopped doing these inspections in-house. Why do we have Kenner brake tags for ordinary private vehicles? Why aren't we just using the state tags at this point? Either the brake tags are a public safety measure, in which case the inspection should probably be done in-house, or there's really no reason for Kenner-specific tags on most vehicles. And I do have this note that I added at the end. Another possibility I've considered is that maybe it's a tool that KPD might use to determine who's from Kenner and who's not. And that's actually a decent reason that would fall within the realm of public safety. So to get back to my question, I think it really just comes down to what is the reason? Why are we doing it at this point? Thank you.
You done?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll ask for an explanation at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Richard Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Richard Brown, District 4. I live in Holly Heights, Westwood. I'm here to say a few words about the fall festival that we had in Holly Heights this past weekend. And when I say Holly Heights, people don't know this, but what we consider Holly Heights is actually 3 subdivisions. It's Holly Heights, Chateau Terre, and Westwood. But we all think of it as Holly Heights. And for the second year in a row, we had our fall festival. Last year, it was in conjunction with Halloween. This year, it was in conjunction with a night out against crime. And on behalf of the planning committee, which I was a part of, I want to thank the city for everything it did. We had an awesome turnout, several hundred people. We don't have an exact count. At one point, I tried to do a rough head count, just estimating groups of 25, and figured at that point there were probably 200 to 300 people there. We had a huge turnout, a lot of kids. The kids loved it. But I want to thank the city council, the mayor, council members for what they did. Wanted to thank Mayor Glazer for his contribution and his help. And this was held this past Tuesday in conjunction with the Night Out Against Crime. And the members of the planning committee, Melody Lawson, who is here, who's going to speak next, was the chair. And I had cheerleader, motivator, problem solver. She was an absolute workhorse. She's going to have comments after I do. But the planning committee consisted of Melody as chair, Stacy Alessandro, Justin Trick, and myself. But we feel like we also need to add to that group Melody's husband, Antoine Lawson, who was an absolute workhorse. I don't know if we could have done this without him. He was everywhere. I don't know if Melody was cracking a whip or if he was doing this voluntarily, but he was a workhorse. And I wanted to especially thank the Parks and Recreation Department for going out of their way to see to it that the grounds were clean, the grass was mowed, the park was pristine. And this park, for those who don't know, it's in Holly Heights God, I forgot the street. It's on Barron Lane in Holly Heights. It's sort of hidden out of the way. And that's where the Anthony's Missing Pieces Playground is located. The playground that was built under the instance of Arita Bohannon and her family for special needs children, children on the spectrum, but all children use it. And I wanted to especially thank Joey Baham with Parks and Recreation. Joey was a huge help last year. He was again this year. He was by there several times to check on us. He was the one, I think, in charge of getting us the generators and the light sets that the city furnished. We thank the city for furnishing those lights because there are no lights in the park. We needed those. Joey came by several times to check on us, to check on the generators, to check on the lights, to help close up. He was an absolute trooper. And Melody is going to have some more to say about the Parks and Recreation Department and the other departments that participated. One thing I want to mention that probably only 2 or 3 of you may know is that this was on Tuesday, early Tuesday morning, around 1 or 2 a.m. Tuesday morning. Melody's brother died unexpectedly. And he was not married, he was divorced. Both of Melody's parents are deceased, and it's fallen on Melody to pretty much make all of the arrangements. She was out there all day Tuesday, seeing to it that this festival came off without a hitch. She did an awesome job. We very much appreciate her leadership and her help. And at this point, I want to let Melody come over here and make some comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Unless any of you have questions for me.
Ms. Lawson.
I just wanted to get here, stand here and tell you guys I would be remiss not to show up and tell you how much I appreciate you. Charles Elaine, Terrence Jones, they were absolutely phenomenal. Every single time I called with every single idea that I needed executed, like trim these trees and move these branches and we need lights. They came out and they handled it immediately. We need new portalettes. They made everything happen. They were absolutely fantastic. Mayor Glazer came out and brought us enough water for a small army, and I'm grateful for that. Keith Conley, KFD, Keith Kremen, Matt Hotard, they were absolutely fantastic. Christy McKinney and Wendy, they always show up for us. George Brannigan does everything we need, including reattaching our scarecrow. I am grateful for everything that he does. So thank you guys so much. We hope to make it bigger and better next year. I think everyone had an awesome time. We had an outstanding turnout. So thank you for all of your help.